today we've actually got two major stories that say a lot about where this team is heading next. One of them is about the future, and the young guys coming in who could change this franchise way faster than people expected. And the other story has Raider Nation talking for a completely different reason, because there's real pressure building behind the scenes right now, and you can feel it. That's what makes this whole moment so interesting as a Raiders fan. For the first time in a long time, it feels like this team actually has direction, but at the same time there are still huge questions that could completely change how this season unfolds. You can already feel the energy building around this roster. Some fans are excited, some are nervous, some are trying not to get their hopes up again after everything we've been through these past few years. But one thing is clear, people are paying attention to the Raiders again. And honestly, that matters. Because when this franchise starts creating real buzz, when people inside the building start believing again, when young players start arriving with confidence and swagger, that's when things can change fast in the NFL. So today, we're breaking down both stories, what they really mean for the future of this team, and why Raider Nation should be watching very closely right now. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're really part of Raider Nation. My name's Victor, this is Raiders Nation Update, and we're trying to reach our first 4,000 subscribers together. So if you believe this team is finally building something special, subscribe and be part of this channel from the beginning. The first big story today is about these Raiders rookies and why people inside the organization genuinely believe this draft class can make an impact immediately in 2026. And honestly, hearing the way General Manager John Spytek talked about these players, you can tell this front office feels different about this group. After the draft in Henderson, the Raiders staff reportedly couldn't even hide their excitement. And look, we've heard optimism before during off-season hype seasons. Every team talks up their rookies in May. But this situation feels a little different because the Raiders aren't just talking about athletic upside. They're talking about football intelligence, versatility, toughness, and players who already look mentally prepared to contribute early. And that starts with Fernando Mendoza. Everybody knows the spotlight is going to be on him the second he walks into the building because when you're drafted #1 overall by the Raiders, there's no hiding from expectations. Now officially, veteran quarterback Kirk Cousins is expected to start the season. That makes sense. He knows Clint Kubiak's offense, he has experience, and the Raiders clearly want stability while Mendoza develops. But let's be honest with ourselves here. Nobody truly believes Mendoza is sitting the entire season unless the Raiders are somehow deep in playoff contention with Cousins playing high-level football. And the reality is, the modern NFL doesn't wait long anymore. The last several quarterbacks drafted first overall all ended up starting as rookies at some point very early. So whether it happens in week 1, week 4, or halfway through the season, Fernando Mendoza is going to play. What's interesting is how the coaching staff views him mentally. Coming out of Indiana, Mendoza played in an RPO-heavy offense, and now he has to transition into a pro-style NFL system where he'll be under center a lot more frequently. That adjustment is not easy. A lot of rookie quarterbacks struggle with it badly. But internally, the Raiders apparently love how fast he processes information and how seriously he approaches preparation. That matters because physical talent alone doesn't save rookie quarterbacks in this league. The mental side destroys guys all the time. And from everything being said right now, the Raiders believe Mendoza has the toughness to survive the growing pains that are definitely coming. Because let's not sugarcoat this. There will be rough moments, there will be interceptions, there will be ugly rookie mistakes. Raider Nation has to understand that now before the season starts. But what gives people hope is that Mendoza apparently doesn't get rattled easily, and honestly that's huge for this franchise because the Raiders desperately need stability at quarterback long term. Now the second rookie everyone inside the building seems extremely excited about is Treydan Stukes. And this might actually be the rookie with the clearest path to becoming an immediate starter. The Raiders had serious issues at safety last season. Isaiah Pola-Mao had inconsistent moments in coverage, and statistically it was rough. He allowed a 70% completion rate across more than 500 coverage snaps, and the defense desperately needed more range and playmaking on the back end. That's where Stukes comes in. This guy can play everywhere. Outside corner, nickel, safety, deep middle. Rob Leonard is probably going to move him all over the field because versatility is one of the biggest reasons the Raiders drafted him so high at number 38 overall. John Spytek even talked about how much they value players willing to do whatever the team asks without complaining. And when you watch Stukes' tape from Arizona, you understand why they're excited. Last season, he had 4 interceptions and allowed only a 26.1% completion rate when targeted as the primary defender. That's ridiculous production. Plus, his speed allows him to stay with receivers vertically, which is something this defense badly needed. And honestly, Raider Nation, if this kid flashes early during training camp, it's going to become very hard to keep him off the field. Now let's talk about Trey Zune III, because this is one of those picks that might quietly become one of the smartest moves the Raiders made in the draft. Offensive line versatility is everything in today's NFL, especially in Clint Kubiak's system, and Zune basically told everyone straight up that he takes pride in being able to play all 5 positions on the line. That mentality alone is going to make coaches love him. At Texas A&M, he played left tackle and center, but the Raiders drafted him as a guard. And the reason people believe he has a real chance to contribute immediately is because several starting jobs on this offensive line are still open. Colton Miller, Jackson Powers-Johnson, and Tyler Linderbaum are expected starters. But there's competition elsewhere. Zune could battle Caleb Rogers and Spencer Burford at guard. He could also potentially compete at right tackle against DJ Glaze and Charles Grant. And honestly, after the struggles DJ Glaze had in 2025, allowing 70 pressures and 16 sacks, nobody's job should feel completely safe right now. That competition is healthy, because for too many years this offensive line felt unstable, inconsistent, and soft at times. The Raiders clearly want more physicality now. Brandon Hunt literally talked about wanting violent, football-loving players in the room. And Raider fans love hearing that kind of mentality because that's supposed to be Raiders football. Physical, aggressive, nasty. Now another rookie who could surprise people immediately is running back Mike Washington Jr. And this one is interesting because Clint Kubiak already said he wants a 2 running back system. That's important because Ashton Jeanty carried a massive workload after being drafted in the first round last year, and the Raiders clearly don't want to burn him out. So Mike Washington Jr. suddenly walks into a perfect situation. This dude is a serious athlete. He played at Buffalo, New Mexico State, and then exploded at Arkansas in 2025 with over 1,000 rushing yards. But what really jumps out is the 606 yards after contact. That tells you he's not just fast. He runs through people. And then you combine that with his size at 6'2", 223 pounds, plus the fact he ran a 4.33 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine. That's dangerous. Brandon Hunt already called him an explosive weapon who can help this offense create big plays immediately. And honestly, that's something the Raiders' offense has lacked consistently. Explosive plays, easy chunk yardage, defenses fearing speed. If Washington becomes a reliable RB2 behind Ashton Jeanty, this offense suddenly becomes way more dangerous because defenses can't focus on stopping just one back anymore. Now, the second major story today honestly ties into all of this, because the biggest thing these rookie conversations reveal is that the Raiders are officially trying to accelerate this rebuild. This is not a slow, patient rebuild anymore. You don't draft Fernando Mendoza first, overall, unless you believe the future starts now. You don't aggressively prioritize versatility and competition unless you're trying to completely reshape the culture inside the building. And that pressure is going to hit everybody. Kirk Cousins knows it. Veterans on the offensive line know it. Defensive backs know it. The message from this front office is becoming very clear. Nobody's spot is guaranteed anymore. And Raider Nation, that's probably overdue. For years, fans have begged this organization to stop accepting mediocrity. Stop handing out starting jobs based on contracts or reputation. Make people earn it. And honestly, this rookie class feels like the first real sign that the Raiders may finally be serious about changing the identity of this team. Now, does that guarantee success? Of course not. We've all seen promising offseason hype collapse before. Raiders fans know pain better than almost anybody. But I will say this. There's something different about the energy surrounding this team right now. There's competition. There's urgency, there's accountability, and maybe most importantly, there's actual hope at quarterback for the future. That changes everything. Because if Fernando Mendoza develops into the franchise quarterback the Raiders believe he can become, then suddenly all these other young pieces start making more sense together. Trayden Stukes becoming a defensive playmaker, Trey Zune stabilizing the offensive line, Mike Washington Jr. adding explosiveness to the offense. That's how rebuilds actually work. Young talent growing together at the same time. And Raider Nation is desperate to finally see this organization build something sustainable instead of constantly restarting every 2 years. So now the big question becomes whether these rookies are truly ready for the pressure that comes with wearing silver and black. Because this fan base is passionate, emotional, demanding, and honestly, that's what makes being a Raider special. This franchise doesn't get quiet support. You either embrace the pressure or you get swallowed by it. And over these next few months, we're going to start finding out very quickly which of these young players are built for that reality. But I want to know what you think, Raider Nation. Do you believe Fernando Mendoza should start earlier than expected? Which rookie do you think has the best chance to become an instant impact player this season? And are you finally starting to believe this rebuild is heading in the right direction? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe to Raiders Nation Update if you really believe in the future of this team. We're still chasing our first 4,000 subscribers, and if you've been rocking with this channel from the beginning, seriously, thank you. And no matter what happens this season, we ride together, Raider Nation.